Good morning, everybody. Uh, Today, let us discuss about the fourth unit, uh, design and realization of FIR filters. Okay, in the previous discussions, we have seen the various types of filters with respect to Butterworth, right? And we have designed, we have derived the order of the filter, right? Now, let us stop that discussion for the time being, and let us see the fourth unit, which is the syllabus for the third test, right? Now, which is very important. Please concentrate, try to understand. If you have any doubts, please inform me through WhatsApp. Okay, create a group by name DSP, add me, and let us discuss your doubts in that particular group. Okay, yes. Now, let us discuss the fourth unit now, that is the design and realization of FIR filters. Right now, what is this FIR filter basically? What is FIR stands for? Finite impulse response filter. Right now, whatever the filters that we have seen till now, starting from PUC level as well, low pass filter, high pass filter, whatever the filters that you have seen already, that those all filters are having an infinite impulse response. H of n will be of infinite duration. Say for example, if I have an h of n is equal to e to the power of minus j omega n. Now that n can be of any length, starting from 0 to infinity or starting from minus infinity to plus infinity, we don't know what it is. Okay. Now it is of infinite duration. Now here in this particular filter, we can able to restrict that duration. Therefore, we can able to convert that infinite duration impulse response to finite duration impulse response. That is why it is finite impulse response, right? Finite duration impulse response filters. Now, how to restrict it? With the help of windows. Therefore, we will be looking so many 6 or 5 to 6 types of windows are there in our syllabus. Therefore, we will be looking into those types of filters as well, right? Now, basically, the IAR filters which was studied, which was discussed in the previous unit, that is the Butterworth digital filter, Chebyshev digital filter. Uh, those are the filters of infinite impulse response. They are called as IIR filters, right? Now, these are called as FIR filters. Now, those IIR filter have been designed by looking into the magnitude frequency response specifications, isn't it? We have not seen the phase response of it. We just neglect those phase response with respect to IIR filter. Now, there are certain applications where the phase response is also very much essential, very much required to maintain some features of the phase response as well, along with the magnitude frequency response. Therefore, it is very important to focus even on the phase response of a filter. Therefore, we are just trying to look those uh, types of filters in this FIR filters, right? Now, FIR filters that was seen was having a nonlinear phase response. The phase response was not linear. It was not linear like this. There was some ripples and variations in the phase, and then it was something like that. But here in FIR filters, it is very much essential with respect to some applications to maintain the linear phase response, right? Linear means obviously it will be varying like this or this. Somehow, in one or the other way, the phase response has to be linear in nature. In order to see that whether the phase is linear or not, the impulse response has to be of finite duration of length n, right? If the impulse response h of n is of finite duration of length n, finite duration of length n, then we can able to get, then it is possible to get the linear phase response. Right? The linear phase response can be obtained by maintaining the finite duration of length n for that particular impulse response. How to finite duration? By multiplying the desired impulse response by the window function. Right? We will come to know that little later. Now, if the magnitude frequency response is seen, the frequency response of such filter where we will be getting a linear phase response is of such expression, that is e to the power of omega into alpha for magnitude of omega less than omega naught, and it is 0 for omega magnitude of omega greater than 0, greater than omega naught and less than pi, right? Now for such type of expression, now this expression is the frequency response expression of a filter which is having a linear phase response, right? Now we can able to observe here that the frequency variation is between omega naught, right? Between omega naught, both left side and right side omega naught, the magnitude, the frequency response is varying in terms of e to the power of minus j omega into alpha. Whereas after omega naught to pi, its value will be 0, right? Now, ideally speaking, that can be written in this way. Ideal frequency response, right? This is omega naught and this is minus omega naught, and 0 till plus pi, and here till minus pi. Therefore, this is the ideal frequency response with respect to radians, right? Now this is the frequency ideal, the frequency response of a ideal low pass filter. Okay. Now it is periodic in nature. You can able to identify that it is varying from minus pi to plus pi, where from minus omega naught to plus omega naught its value is 1, and from omega naught to pi on either side its value is 0, and it can be anything afterwards, and this is periodically repeating. This is periodic in nature with the period 2 pi, right? Therefore it might be, again it keeps on with the same with the same frequency response. Okay. Now this is for the period of 2 pi radians. Digital frequency will be represented in terms of radians, whereas analog frequency will be represented in terms of radians per second. Therefore, the notation for radians is omega w, and whereas for radians per second it is ohm, the notation for representing frequency, right? Now, this is basically the frequency response, and ideally it might not be as such. There might be exponentially decaying or some monotonically decreasing type of frequency response will be seen. Right now, this is the frequency response of a filter which is having a linear phase response. Now, if I take the impulse response h of n, right? This h of n might be symmetric or anti-symmetric in nature, right? If it is symmetric, now there are two types as I told you, that is symmetric and anti-symmetric in nature. If it is symmetric, it will be h of n minus 1 minus n, and if it is anti-symmetric, this desired h of n, desired impulse response will be equal to h of, that is minus of h of n minus 1 minus n for anti-symmetric type of impulse response, where n will be varying from 0 to capital N minus 1 as well. Here n is varying from 0, 1 to n minus 1. Here also n is varying from 0 to n minus 1. It is h of n, where the impulse response will take on these values, these expression, if it is symmetric in nature, if the impulse response is anti-symmetric in nature, right? Now these are the two different types of impulse response based on whether the impulse response is symmetric or anti-symmetric. Okay, we'll come to know that when we use those type of impulse response, when we see such type of result in our design. Okay. Now, if I try to draw the corresponding impulse responses, this is omega. With respect to symmetric, I am trying to write now. Now, this is the finite duration impulse response, as I told you before, which is symmetric in nature. you can able to identify with respect to the midpoint. If this is n minus 1, if this is 0, now the midpoint is n by 2 minus 1. I mean n minus 1 divided by 2, isn't it? If this is the full length, half of that full length is this divided by 2. Therefore, n minus 1 divided by 2 is here. For n is equal to even. N is equal to even. If there are 10 sequences in h of n, obviously 10 is an even number. Now, if there are 10 sequences, now we are telling that it is symmetric in nature. Therefore, its midpoint is n minus 1 divided by 2, where we don't have any sample over there. The value of that particular point, I mean the value at that particular point is 0, right? Now, we all know that discrete sequences will be defined only at integer value of time, right? Now, therefore, it is 0 over there, and here it is n minus 1, I mean n plus, here it is n by 2, and here it is n by 2 minus 1. This is n by 2, this value, and this sample is at n by 2 minus 1, and the midpoint between these two samples, there is a midpoint which is been marked over there where there are no sample, isn't it? That point is n minus 1 divided by 2 and 0, right? Now, these are the samples, the location of those samples with respect to even number of samples with respect to even value. N is equal to even symmetric nature, and if n is odd, then at midpoint only one sample will be there. This is n minus 1 divided by 2, and on either side of this midpoint the sample value keeps on decreasing with respect to n is equal to odd. We are trying to look into, right? Now, n minus, if this is 0 sample and if this is n minus 1th sample, then the impulse response for symmetric type of impulse response, it is h of n minus 1 minus n, where n is varying from 0 to n minus 1. Then this is starting from 0 and ending at n minus 1. Its midpoint is n minus 1 divided by 2, and it is n minus 3 divided by 2. This is n plus 1 divided by 2. Right? Now, these are the sample locations where this is h of n, and this is also the h of n for symmetric, and this is for n is equal to odd type of impulse. Now, you should be remembering, you should be observing here, it is 0, midpoint is n minus 1 divided by 2, and just before that it is n by 2 minus 1. Here it is n by 2. If this is n by 2th sample, then the previous sample will be n by 2 minus 1th sample. Here n by 2 minus 2th sample, n minus 2 and n by 2 minus 3 sample, isn't it? Now, later on it is n minus, I mean n by 2 minus 1 plus 1, that is n by 2. n by 2 plus 1 next. n by 2 plus 2, n by 2 plus 3. Likewise, n minus 1th sample, right? This is how the symmetric impulse response will be there for two different types of n even and n odd, and its corresponding midpoint, and one previous sample of midpoint and one after sample of the midpoint, and the final sample is n at n minus 1, isn't it? Now, this is with respect to symmetric and I mean symmetric even, symmetric odd type of a impulse response, right? Now, if h of z is the system function, if h of z is the system function of a digital filter, then the frequency response of such digital filter is obtained by letting z is equal to e to the power of j omega. Now, therefore, that h of z will now become, if h of z is a filter function, then z is equal to is been replaced by e to the power of j omega, and it will be written as h of omega, which will be equal to h r of omega magnitude and e to the power of j theta of omega. Now, this frequency response can be of two types. Now, obviously, the magnitude frequency response is something we can able to draw with respect to frequency. That is magnitude and frequency. Magnitude versus frequency, I can say a little more better way. And there is one more plot, that is phase plot. where the magnitude with respect to phase we can able to draw, isn't it? Now, therefore, if I want to get that mathematically, if I want to write that magnitude response and phase response mathematically, this is how I can able to write it. H of omega, the frequency response alone can be written as, can be splitted into two. One is magnitude and phase. H r of w e to the power of j theta of w. It is in the form of r e to the power of j theta, right? Magnitude of r separately, magnitude response, and theta phase response, isn't it? Now, therefore, if the magnitude response can be splitted up in terms of magnitude and phase, this is how mathematically it will be. Where that hr of w takes of different form based on whether h of n is symmetric or not, or I mean is symmetric or anti-symmetric. Once again, in symmetric there are two types, isn't it? Therefore, we need to look into four types basically. In symmetric two types, in anti-symmetric another two types of hr of w. Therefore, there are four hr of w and four theta of w, right? Now, therefore, hr of w for n is equal to even and symmetric. Now we are talking about symmetric type of impulse response, and now in that symmetric type of impulse response, let me see, let us try to see hr of w for n is equal to even. I hope you are following it, right? hr of w is equal to e for n is equal to even, it is 2 into summation n varying from 0 to n minus 1 divided by, I mean, n by 2 till here. Since it is even, 0 to n by 2 minus 1. This is what it is repeating afterwards, isn't it? Therefore, twice that of these samples, sum of all these samples we are trying to write here. Now, twice of from where to where it is unique, from 0 to n by 2 minus 1, isn't it? Now, later on, it is repeating with the same values alternatively, correct? Therefore, 0 to n by 2 minus 1 of h of n into cos of omega into n minus capital N minus 1 divided by 2. This is the expression for h r of w for n is equal to even and h of n is symmetric, right? Whenever you see cos term in this expression, understood that it is symmetric in nature. The impulse response is symmetric in nature. Now, based on this expression, you can able to judge whether it is symmetric or not. Now, how to identify whether is n is even and odd? We will come to know that when we write hr of w for odd symmetric impulse response. Okay. Now, similarly, theta of w for n is equal to even. Now, this is for n is equal to even and symmetric. Okay, you can just try to mention over here n is equal to even and h of n symmetric. N even and h of n is equal to symmetric. hr of w will be equal to twice that of summation n varying from 0 to n by 2 minus 1 h of n into cos of omega into n minus n minus 1 divided by 2. Now, this is, we have a derivation for this particular expression. Now, it is very tedious and it is not required for you guys. Only thing that is required for you is to remember these expressions correspondingly, whether it is h of n is symmetric or antisymmetric. And even in symmetric, there are two types for n is equal to even and odd. We are trying to write even. Therefore, theta of w is equal to, for omega into minus of omega into n minus 1 divided by 2 for magnitude of omega less than omega naught, less, I mean, h of magnitude frequency response, h r of w, if this h r of w is greater than 0, and for less than 0, h r of w, for h r of w, this h r of w less than 0, is it not visible to you? Okay, fine. We'll try to write the phase response separately. Now, the phase response, I mean the phase theta of w for n is equal to even and impulse response symmetric, right, is equal to minus omega n minus 1 divided by 2 for h r of omega less than 0. If h r of omega is greater than 0, then it takes minus omega n minus 1 divided by 2 plus pi plus pi, right? Now this is the phase response, I mean the phase theta of omega for hr of omega less than 0 or hr of omega greater than 0, right? Now this is for n is equal to even and symmetric, even and impulse response symmetric. Now for symmetric h of n and n is equal to odd, right? h r of w will take the form. Now with respect to odd, which are repeating, now from 0 to n minus 3 divided by 2, these samples are repeating that side as well. Only one sample which is unique with the at the location n minus 1 divided by 2, isn't it? Therefore I can able to split that in mathematically as h of capital N minus 1 divided by 2. The value of h of n minus 1 divided by 2 need to be substituted here, plus the rest which is repeating. Therefore I need to take twice of summation small n varying from 0 to where? Capital N minus 3 divided by 2. From this point to that particular point, these samples are repeating once again with the decreasing amplitudes, right? Therefore anyways, correspondingly there are two samples over there respectively at the corresponding locations, isn't it? Therefore we write it twice into h of n cos of omega into n minus 1 divided by 2. Sorry, that would be yeah, n minus 1 divided by 2 itself. Yes, correct. And the phase theta of omega is equal to, once again it will be depending upon hr of omega. If hr of omega is less than 1, or otherwise I'll write it greater than 0 first. Okay, if hr of w is greater than 0, it is minus of omega n minus 1 divided by 2, and if hr of omega is less than 0, then it is minus omega of n minus 1 divided by 2 plus pi. The same expression, I mean plus pi, the same phase, but for interchanged hr of w, isn't it? For hr of w less than 0, this is the expression that theta of w will take on. Here for hr of w less than 0, it is this expression that the theta of w has to take up, right? Now these condition has been interchanged for the corresponding expressions that will be taking up for theta of w for n is equal to odd and h of n is symmetric in nature, right? Now we need to remember these expressions correspondingly. And for anti-symmetric and n is equal to odd and even, we have another two types of expressions over there. Now those expressions I will be writing now. We'll erase this. For anti-symmetric, it is minus, as we have written here, it is h of n is equal to minus of h of n minus 1 minus n, isn't it? Therefore for anti-symmetric h of n and n is equal to even, that hr of w will take up the form 2 summation n varying from 0 to n by 2 minus 1, n by 2 minus 1 into h of n sine of omega into n minus 1 divided by 2 minus n. This is the only change that we are going to see here with respect to HR of W, right? Okay. And with respect to theta, theta of W is equal to, once again, depending upon the magnitude response HR of W, if it is greater than 0, if it is greater than 0, its value will be pi by 2 minus of omega into n minus 1 divided by 2. If the frequency response is greater than 0. And if it is less than 0, it will be 3 pi by 2 minus omega of n minus 1 divided by 2 if HR of omega is less than 0, right? Now this is the expression for theta if n is equal to even and for anti-symmetric h of n, right? Now here for n is equal to odd with respect to symmetric, that midpoint sample was having some value, isn't it? Yes. Now for n is equal to odd, for same anti-symmetric, n is equal to odd, HR of W, HR of omega is equal to, what will be that midpoint value? H of n minus 1 divided by 2. Anti-symmetric left side, if it is a positive value, right side it will be negative value. If it is left side, if it is negative samples, right side opposite of that, that is the positive samples will be there. At midpoint, its value will be obviously always 0. Therefore, it is equal to 2 into summation n varying from 0 to n minus 3 divided by 2 into h of n sine of omega into capital N minus 1 divided by 2 minus small n. This is the expression for HR of W for n is equal to odd and antisymmetric impulse response. Similarly, theta of W is equal to, what change might be there? Here, there is no change with respect to the phase. One second. Let me clarify with that. Yeah. For both the case, theta remains the same. Theta is equal to pi by 2 minus omega into n minus 1 divided by 2, right? For h r of W greater than 0, and this is 3 pi by 2 minus omega of n minus 1 divided by 2 if h r of omega is less than 0. Now these are the expressions with respect to h r of omega and theta of omega for 4 different types. Basically, 2 classifications: symmetric impulse response and antisymmetric impulse response. In symmetric impulse response, with respect to odd n and even n, with respect to antisymmetric even n and odd n, right? There will be 4 types of HR of omega and theta of omega correspondingly. Now we need to remember these expressions as simple expressions. Now based on these only we could able to design a FIR filter. Okay. Now the design concepts. There are different types of window. As I told you, we can able to obtain the finite duration impulse response that has to be limited by multiplying with the help of a window. Say, if there is an infinite impulse response, right, which is continuous in nature, I mean, which is continuing from minus infinity to plus infinity. Now, how can I get a finite duration impulse response? Just by multiplying this window. Say, just imagine that I have a paper with some rectangular cut in that paper. If I just move that rectangular cut, or if I simply overlap the infinite duration impulse response with that paper which is having a slit or cut open, a rectangular cut in between, now whichever it is visible through that particular cut is the finite duration impulse response, right? Now that is what we call it as a window. If I have a paper with a cut open, a rectangular cut in between, in the at the center of that particular paper, that is not, I mean, which is very much similar to that of a window that we are talking about, right? Now, if that window is been overlapped or multiplied with the infinite duration impulse response, obviously the result will be a finite duration impulse response, isn't it? Now, whichever the sample that can be seen through that window, those are the finite duration impulse response that we are extracting out of the infinite duration impulse response, isn't it? I hope you are following it. Now, there are around 6 types of windows in our syllabus. They are rectangular window, rectangular window, partlet window, Hanning window, Hamming window, Blackman window, and Kaiser window. These are the 6 types of window that we have in our syllabus, right? Rectangular window, Bartlett window, Hanning window, Hamming window, Blackman window, Kaiser window, right? Now, each windows are of, I mean, are having its own, their own features. Based on that, we will be obtaining the frequency response or impulse response finally with respect to a particular filter, right? Now, what is this rectangular window? Now, I'll just try to show you what is the window that we are talking about, right? Now, rectangular window will be like this. I hope it is visible to all of you. Is that visible? Okay. Anyways, I'll be sharing these notes with you so that you can able to uh, study with respect to a particular window. Now, I'll just try to write one window. Now, all other window will be having a similar kind of responses with its own expressions. Okay. Now, rectangular window, I'll try to write rectangular window. Now, the window function W r of n, this is small w r of n, this is in lower case, W r of n is equal to 1 for n greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to capital N minus 1, and it is 0 elsewhere. And it is 0 elsewhere. Okay, as we were talking that n can be odd or even on that value of n. Here also the window length will depend upon, right? Now, if n is equal to 10, therefore it vary from 0 to 9, right? From 0 to 9, its value will be 1 and 0 elsewhere. If n is equal to 5, from 0 to 4, its value will be 1 and 0 elsewhere. Based on the value of n, the window length, the window size will depend upon, right? Now, this window is having the amplitude and n as follows. If this is WR of n, its value will be obviously 1 from 0 to n minus 1, as it has been written there. Now, this keeps on continuing till n minus 1, and that maximum value that n minus 1 can take is 32, right? Therefore, from 0 to 32, this window can take up the size. It can be 0 to 31, 0 to 30, 0 to 29 as such. But it cannot vary, exceed beyond 32. It cannot be from 0 to 33 even, isn't it? Therefore, it has to get restricted from 0 to 32 only. Altogether 33 samples. The length of the rectangular window can be 33, right? Maximum 33. This is the window representation pictorially, and the magnitude frequency response of this window, the magnitude frequency response of this window denoted by decibels, 20 log of W, capital W R of omega, right? The magnitude frequency response of that window in dB is, that is, this is measured in dB, and this is frequency, a digital frequency which is measured in radians, right? Now this is in dB. If WR of n is applied with the discrete Fourier transformation, discrete time Fourier transformation, DTFT, obviously its representation in Fourier domain will be capital WR of omega, correct? Huh? Omega is a digital frequency. Don't get confused with continuous time. Continuous time iddaga input adakke frequency counterpart enagutte omega agutte anta ನಾವು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೀವಿ signals and systems ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Now here with respect to DSP, omega with respect to frequency, angular frequency can be represented in two terms, in two types. One is small omega, analog frequency, and digital frequency. This is measured in radians per second, and this is measured in radians, right? Now these are the two representations of frequency over here, and we are trying to design a digital filter. Since DSP deals with the digital inputs, therefore the filter also is to be in a digital domain. Therefore, this has to be omega in radians, and therefore WR of omega is with respect to this, right? Therefore, the magnitude frequency response of the window will be like this. You can even get this from the textbook as well. Therefore, it lasts for pi, up to pi, because it is periodic in nature, minus, pi by 2. This is pi by 2, 0, and pi radians. Now, if this is 0, below is negative value, as we have seen in Butterworth filter, 0 dB, minus 1 dB, minus 50 dB, as and when, so on and so forth, isn't it? Therefore, the gap here, the first ripple is starting from 0 dB, and the second ripple is having its peak at some point. Therefore, the gap, the difference between these two is 13 dB. Therefore, it's, if I try to note it here, it is minus 13 dB. The peak of the first ripple is, or the side lobe, we call it as, this is main lobe, and these are the side lobes of the frequency spectrum. If this is been repeated in the left hand side, this will continue like this. Okay, this is, in fact, it will be like this, right? The main lobe associated with so many number of side lobes. The first side lobe will be dropped down to minus 13 dB. Therefore, the difference from 0 to 13, minus 13, the difference I'm talking about, or the width I'm talking about, is 13 dB, right? Now, therefore, this is 13 dB. If you see such type of magnitude frequency response of any window with the width from 0 to first main lobe is 13 dB, then which window with that we need to consider it as? It is rectangular window, right? Therefore, somewhere here there is 20 dB, I mean minus 20 dB, minus 40 dB, minus 60 dB, and minus 80 dB, so on and so forth. It keeps on continuing. This is the magnitude, I mean frequency response of a rectangular window. Now, assume that we have designed a filter by making use of this rectangular window. Then how the frequency response of that particular filter will look like? We will draw that now. Hope it is visible. Now, a magnitude frequency response which has been designed by using rectangular window will be as such, which is also measured in decibels. Therefore, 20 log of h of omega, magnitude of h of omega, and yes, this is in omega, that is radians, and this is in dB, and the magnitude frequency response will be like this. You can just imagine. See, this is the main lobe and these are the side lobes. This is the pass band and this is the stop band. You can just imagine as such. This is the practical frequency response. Therefore, obviously, there will be no linearity as we have seen with respect to Chebyshev, right? Now, the magnitude, I mean, the pass band is smooth, whereas the stop band is not smooth. So many ripples are there. Therefore, the pass band and stop band can be seen in this particular frequency response curve, right? Now here it is pi and pi by 2 radians, 0 radians, pi by 2 radians, and pi radians. Now if this is 0 dB and 20 dB somewhere here, therefore minus 20 dB, minus 40 dB, and minus 60 dB, so on and so forth. Therefore, the gap from the main lobe to first side lobe will be, if this is at 0 dB, therefore the gap is this much, and that is of 21 decibels. If the gap with respect to the filter magnitude frequency response, if the magnitude frequency response is corresponding to the filter, then in that filter, if a rectangular window is being used, then the gap will be, one second, with, I mean, this is the magnitude frequency response of a window and magnitude frequency response of a filter designed using that particular rectangular window. Now similar type of explanation, that is the expression and the response plots, with respect to all other filters will be seen. Now you can able to see and understand the different types of filters, corresponding expression, as well as the plots with respect to all other types of windows. I'll share the notes with you. Please go through and try to understand these concepts in all other types of windows that are being listed over there, right? Now, moving further, we'll give you the steps in designing a particular window. Please take down the steps in designing a FIR filter using different windows, right? Write the heading, steps in design of FIR filter. Steps in designing a FIR filter. Follow the steps below. Follow the steps below. If HD of omega, capital HD of omega, if HD of omega is not given, and if the specifications are given, and if the specifications are given, that is the design of an FIR filter, the design of an FIR low pass filter with the specifications, omega p, omega s, kp and ks are given. Step 1, select the window type, the table. Okay, I'll share the steps as well with you. Go through those steps and then understand how to design a filter and try to design it. We'll solve one numerical here, how to design a filter. Okay. The first question, a low pass filter is to be designed with the following desired frequency response. I repeat the question. A low pass filter is to be designed with the following desired frequency response. HD of omega is equal to e to the power of minus j 2 omega with omega less than pi by 4 and 0 for omega greater than pi by 4 till less than pi. Now this is the desired frequency response given, full stop. Determine the filter coefficients HD of n and H of n if W of n is a rectangular window defined as follows. WR of n is equal to 1 for n greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to n minus 1, which is equal to 4, and 0 otherwise. Full stop. Also find the frequency response H of omega of the resulting FIR filter. Now, in the question, they are asking us to design a low pass filter with the desired frequency response. This is the desired, HD of omega is the desired frequency response of so and so expression from for the different ranges of omega, the corresponding expression of H of HD of omega is given. And they are also mentioning that the window that we are supposed to use is rectangular window whose expression or window function is 1 and 0, 1 for this range and 0 otherwise. And this range is from 0 to n minus 1. N minus 1 is 4. Therefore, what might be capital N? N minus 1 is equal to 4. Therefore, N is equal to 4 plus 1. Therefore, N will be equal to 5. Now, what is N is equal to 5 is indicating odd value of N, isn't it? And N is equal to odd and N minus 1 is equal to 4, that has been mentioned over there. And they are asking us to obtain the frequency response of the filter with this desired frequency response. Now we need to match with respect to that. Therefore, h of omega we need to find out, and the corresponding impulse responses are also need to be obtained. The corresponding impulse response of this is hd of n, and the corresponding impulse response for this is small h of n. Right? Now those are the things that we need to design over here. Now we have solution for this. Solution. They are asking us to find the frequency response h of omega by making use of the desired frequency response hd of omega and the filter function, isn't it? Convoluted with wr of omega, right? Now this is what they are asking us to find, h of omega. How can we find h of omega, which is equal to h of hd of omega Yes. Now h of omega is equal to hd of omega convoluted with wr of omega. This is what filtering is, right? Now it's IDFT. If I apply inverse discrete Fourier transformation to this, I will be getting h of n is equal to hd of n into wr of n. Right? Now the corresponding inverse discrete Fourier transformation of this expression is this only, right? Whenever you are asked to design the filter with the given specifications and you are asked to find h of omega is always is equal to hd of omega convoluted with wr of omega. Now its inverse Fourier transformation is this. Now we are supposed to find hd of n first. Basically, to find h of n, obviously hd of omega is given and wr of n is been given. It is not been given with respect to wr of omega kottilla namage. wr of n is been given, isn't it? Window function is been given, not its frequency domain counterpart, right? Therefore, hd of n is what we need to find now. How to find? Therefore, hd of n is equal to, is it not the inverse discrete Fourier transformation IDFT of hd of omega? Therefore, we have the inverse discrete Fourier transformation expression as 1 divided by 2 pi integration minus infinity to plus infinity. But the inverse discrete Fourier transformation, it is periodic in nature, right? Therefore, it is from minus pi to plus pi, isn't it? hd of capital hd of omega into e to the power of plus j omega into n into d omega. Correct? Now, this is the inverse discrete Fourier transformation expression, which is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi integration. Now from 0 to minus pi to pi is the range for one period. Within that particular period, hd of omega is defined from where to where? Less than by 4 anta helirodu, isn't it? E to the power of minus j ohm into 2 is for the range magnitude of omega less than pi by 4. This is what it has been given. hd of omega is equal to e to the power of minus j omega into 2 for the range magnitude of omega less than pi by 4, and it is 0 for magnitude of omega greater than pi by 4 and less than pi, isn't it? Now this is hd of omega that has been given, right? Therefore, from minus pi to plus pi, there are two values like this. minus pi by 4 to plus pi by 4. It is something like this, which is e to the power of minus j omega into 2. Just imagine. And from minus plus pi by 4 to plus pi, its value is 0. And from minus pi to minus pi by 4 also, its value is 0. Isn't it? Therefore, I need to split this from minus pi to plus pi. There are two values, two different signals, 0 signal and e to the power of minus j omega into 2 signal. Since this is 0, I can just neglect this. Since there is some value, I can able to consider only that range. Therefore, minus pi by 4 to plus pi by 4, it is e to the power of minus j 2 into omega, and e to the power of j omega n is already over there into d omega, isn't it? Now, if I try to simplify this, I'll be getting is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi integration minus pi by 4 to plus pi by 4 e to the power of j omega. If I take out as a common factor, j omega has been taken out as a common factor, therefore minus 2 will be left behind, and plus n, therefore I'll write it as n minus 2 over there into d omega. Integration of that is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi into integration of an exponential with respect to omega is e to the power of j omega into n minus 2 divided by n minus 2. I mean, divided by j into n minus 2, correct? Omega is a variable over there. Therefore, j and n minus 2 are constants. Therefore, j into n minus 2 has been retained in the denominator, and in e to the power of j omega n minus 2 has been written over there with respect to the limit minus pi by 4 to plus pi by 4. Now, this is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi into j n minus 2 altogether into upper limit. If I apply the upper limit over there, it is e to the power of j pi by 4 into n minus 2 minus of e to the power of lower limit minus j pi by 4 into n minus 2. Isn't it? Now, this is what the expression that will be left behind if I simplify, if I apply the limit over there. Now, that is equal to 1 divided by pi into n minus 2, I will retain it as it is, and I will move that 2 into j to the denominator of this. Now, obviously, this is in the denominator. It has to be the denominator of this expression throughout. Therefore, it is e to the power of j pi by 4 into n minus 2 minus e to the power of minus j pi by 4 into n minus 2 divided by 2j. We can able to write like this because this 2j either it is present over there or here, it doesn't make any difference because it is the product of these two expressions, isn't it? Therefore, this gets reduced to, this is in the form of e to the power of j theta minus e to the power of minus j theta divided by 2j, which is nothing but sine theta, isn't it? Therefore, this is equal to 1 divided by pi into n minus 2 into sine theta. In the place of theta, we have sine pi by 4 into n minus 2, isn't it? Now, this is what sine pi by 4 into n minus 2 is, and this will get divided by pi into n by 2. Therefore, this is equal to sine pi by 4 into n minus 2 whole divided by pi into n minus 2, right? Now, you can able to observe that sine pi by 4, this pi by 4 is the limit omega less than pi by 4. That pi by 4 is omega c, cutoff frequency. Therefore, this is cutoff frequency. N minus 2, 2 is nothing but alpha. This is e to the power of minus j omega alpha. In the place of alpha, we have 2. Therefore, n minus alpha I can write over there divided by pi into n minus alpha. In general, for whatever the desired frequency response, in general, if the desired frequency response is in the form of e to the power of minus j omega into alpha, for omega, magnitude of omega less than omega c, cutoff frequency, and 0 where for magnitude of omega greater than omega c less than pi, then it can take up this form. sine omega c n minus alpha divided by pi into n minus alpha. What is this? This is equal to hd of n. Isn't it? This is what we tried to obtain by taking inverse discrete time Fourier transformation to this, and hd of n is equal to, we have IDFT expression and we have arrived at this particular expression, isn't it? Therefore, hd of n is equal to sine pi by 4 n minus 2, that is sine omega c n minus alpha divided by pi into n minus alpha. If hd of omega is in the form of e to the power of minus j omega alpha for omega less than omega c, 0, omega c less than omega less than pi, right? Now, I am supposed to find hd of n for how many samples, for how many values of n. This n is varying from where to where. How to find it? The window function is been given wr of n as, the window function which was given is wr of n is equal to 1 for n greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to, when greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to capital N minus 1, which is equal to 4, and 0 elsewhere. This is the window function that is being given. Therefore, from this we have arrived at the conclusion that n is equal to 5. Since n is equal to 5, which is odd, and we don't know still what is h of n, isn't it? H of n in a kandidilla now. We need to find it now, right? Based on hd of n. hd of n has been obtained as sine pi by 4 into n minus 2 divided by pi into n minus 2. And we know what is window function here, right? Window function is this, which has been given for n is equal to 5, right? Therefore, h of n is equal to, now we need to find this. How to find it? Let me make a table with, by considering the value of n, by hd of n, by considering wr of n, and finally we need to get h of n, which is equal to the product of hd of n and wr of n, right? Now, by this we can able to see, we can able to identify whether h of n is symmetric or not. We'll come to know that. Now, n is varying from 0 to 5, isn't it? Therefore, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What is hd of n? Now, we have obtained the expression for hd of n is equal to what? Sine pi by 4 into n, what was it? Into n minus 2 divided by pi into n minus 2, correct? Now, this is the expression for hd of n that we have got. Therefore, for hd of, for n is equal to 0, if I substitute n is equal to 0, this becomes sine pi by 4 into minus 2. Therefore, sine of minus pi by 2. 2 and 4, there 4 will be divided by 2. Therefore, pi by 2 will be a remainder, and minus pi by 4. Therefore, minus will be taken outside. Therefore, it will be minus of sine pi by 2. Alva? Yes, what is the value of that? And once again, in that integration that we have obtained, hd of n is equal to this. This is for n not equal to 2. Now, just try to analyze, if n is equal to 2 over here and n is equal to 2 over there. N is equal to 2, 2 minus 2 is 0, and sine something. There also we will be getting 0. 0 by 0 is indeterminate. We don't want that value. This is for n not equal to 0. And in the integration itself, if I substitute e to the power of j omega into n minus 2 is the parameter that was there in the integration, isn't it? There, if I substitute n is equal to 0, it will be e to the power of 0. E to the power of 0 is 1. Integration of 1 is omega. Now, if I apply limit to that particular omega with minus pi by 4 to plus pi by 4, it will be pi by 4 minus pi by 4, isn't it? Now, what is pi by 4 minus, e to the power of 0 with respect to the limit? We will be getting it as omega c divided by pi, because IDFT expression there we have 1 divided by 2 pi, isn't it? 1 divided by 2 pi with respect to the limit minus pi to plus pi, and that expression. Therefore, that reduces to pi by 4. Omega c is pi by 4, pi by 4 divided by pi. Therefore, pi by 4 divided by pi is equal to 1 by 4. This is for n is equal to 2, and n is not equal to 2. This is the expression. Therefore, HD of n will take up these values. Therefore, HD of n for 0, n is equal to 0, n ಬರುತ್ತೆ value. You can just try to obtain the value, and the value is 0.159, and here it is 0.225, and for 2 it is 0.25, because it is 1 by 4 for n is equal to 2, and for 3 once again it is okay 0 to 4, 0 to n minus 1 aste, 0.225 and 0.159. I am starting from 0, therefore n minus 1. And window function always it is 1 for that range 0 to n minus 1, it is 1 and 0 elsewhere. Now the product of these two will be 0.159, 0.225 and 0.25, once again 0.225 and once again 0.159. Now compare with respect to midpoint. This is the midpoint. With respect to midpoint, since n is equal to odd ಇದ್ದಾಗ midpoint ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ sample, and on either side of those two it will be symmetric in nature. Is it not symmetric with respect to this midpoint? 0.225 and 0.225 same, and here 0.159 and 0.159 there also same. Therefore, this is symmetric in nature. As we have discussed, if impulse for response, if the impulse function is symmetric in nature, cost term will be there for HR of W, isn't it? Therefore, since this is symmetric and n is equal to odd, what will be our HR of W? Since we have h of omega can also be written in the form of HR of W into e to the power of j theta of W, as we have discussed in the beginning itself. Therefore, we need to know what is HR of W first. This is based on whether h of n is symmetric or antisymmetric and n is equal to even or odd. Since n is equal to odd and h of n is symmetric, we have HR of W as 2 into, h of n minus 1 divided by 2 plus 2 times of summation n varying from 0 to n by 2 minus 1 into h of n, it is n minus 1 divided by 2, isn't it? Midpoint, sorry, n minus 3 divided by 2. 0 to n minus 3 divided by 2. Please look into that expression. H of n into cos of omega into n minus capital N minus 1 divided by 2. This is the expression that we have. This is continuation of that, right? Now, which is equal to h of n is 5. Therefore, 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 by 2 is 2. H of 2 plus 2 times of summation n is varying from 0 to n minus 3. 5, 5, n is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 by 2 is 1. Correct? Therefore, 0 to 1 h of n into cos of omega into n minus 1 divided by 2. n minus 1 is 4. 4 by 2 is 2. Therefore, n minus 2. Now, we need to split this up. Is equal to, what is h of 2 value? H of 2 is 0.25. Is 0.25 plus 2 into, if I split this summation, this 2 get multiplied to each and every sum inside that summation. Therefore, 2 into h of 0 into cos of omega. If n is substituted with 0, 0 minus 2 is minus 2. Cos of minus 2 is plus cos of 2 omega. Therefore, it is 2 omega plus 2 into h of 1. Now, n is taking the value as 1. H of 1 into cos of omega into 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Minus 1 into omega is minus omega. My cos of minus omega is nothing but cos of omega, because cos of minus theta is cos theta. Therefore, cos of minus omega will be obviously equal to cos of omega itself. Therefore, cos of omega. Now, this is the expression for HR of omega, right? Now, I can able to substitute the value, that is 0.25 plus 2 into h of 0 is 0.159. 0.159 into 2, what will be the value of 0.159 into 2? It is 0.318. 0.318 into cos 2 omega plus 2 into h of 1. H of 1 is 0.225. Therefore, 0.225 into 2 is 0.45 into cos of omega. Now, this is HR of omega. Okay, now still it is not h of omega. Finally, I need to substitute there. Now, this is HR of omega, right? And we need to obtain the theta of omega. What is theta of omega? Is equal to theta of omega for n is equal to odd and symmetric h of n. We have theta of omega is equal to, now obviously 0.25 plus something, it will be obviously greater than 0. ಇದು 0 ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆಯಾ? These are all positive values, isn't it? Therefore, it cannot be able to take up a 0 value. Therefore, it is greater than 0. And theta of yes, what will the theta will take up? Theta expression will be, for greater than 0, it is minus omega n minus 1 divided by 2. We have that expression minus omega of n minus 1 divided by 2 for HR of omega greater than 0, and it is minus omega n minus 1 divided by 2 plus pi for HR of omega less than 0. Since we can able to analyze from this expression, that is 0.25 plus something, it will be greater than 0 only. Therefore, the theta value will take up this expression. Therefore, minus of omega into n minus 1 divided by 2. We know what is n minus 1 divided by 2. N minus 1 is 4. 4 by 2 is 2. Therefore, it is minus 2 omega. Theta of omega is minus 2 omega. Therefore, if I substitute in this expression, now it becomes, therefore, h of omega is equal to HR of omega, this expression. Therefore, I will write it here only to accommodate the entire expression. Therefore, h of omega is equal to e to the power of j theta, e to the power of j into theta, it is minus 2 omega, correct? Therefore, e to the power of minus j 2 omega into HR of omega is 0.25 plus 0.318 cos of 2 omega plus 0.45 into cos of omega. Now, we need to simplify that and write. Right? Now, this is equal to, upon substituting for omega, we can able to get the values of it. Now, this will be the final expression for h of omega of the corresponding filter that they are asking us to find, right? Now, this is h of omega, and we have obtained hd of n also in the table, and we have also obtained h of n, which is also the end column of that particular table, isn't it? Now, therefore, we have addressed the question that has been asked, right? Now, this is the frequency response of a FIR filter with the given specification, right? Now, this is how we can able to get the frequency response of a FIR filter. If desired frequency response is asked, therefore, HD of W is what we need to find. Based on the question, we are supposed to find the corresponding result, right? Solution to it. Now, we shall continue the remaining part of our discussion in the next video. For now, please try to read, I mean, understand this, and so try to solve more and more number of numericals with respect to this concept. Okay. Thank you very much. We shall meet in the next video. Thank you.